Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om. Devotees, we have been seeing Narada Bhakti Sutra, how Bhakti is, as described by Swami Vivekananda, the eternal relationship between the eternal soul and the eternal God. So, Bhakti is the eternal relationship between the Jivatma and the Paramatma. Jivatma is the consciousness reflected on the individual body-mind complex and the individual Karna Sharira, the three Shariras, that is called as Jivatma. Paramatma is the same pure original consciousness reflected on this entire universe. So Ishvara is that supreme being who identifies himself with this entire universe. This whole universe is his body, as it were, and the life of this universe is a manifestation of his creativity, and every thought occurring in every individual living being's mind is his thoughts. All knowledge comes from him. Everything is he alone. It is he alone who exists as this entire universe. We are all cells in his body, as it were. Another illustration which we can use to understand this is, let us say Ishvara is the writer of a novel. He's the author of a novel. So let us say, for example, Rabindranath Tagore. If you put him in a room with a bunch of paper and a pen, his creative power, his intelligence would naturally manifest as a novel which he will start writing using that paper and pen. So this paper and pen are Mahamaya, and Bhagavan, the Brahman, has so much of creative power that left to itself or himself, this creative power cannot but manifest. It has to manifest because that is the natural thing to happen. So when you put Rabindranath Tagore in a room with nothing to do, with a pile of paper and a pen, it is natural that he will pick up the paper and start writing a novel. So that is how this world is also. This world is a spontaneous manifestation of the creative power of Brahman, using Mahamaya as the tool, as the means, which is like paper and pen. Brahman manifests this world. Now, as the creator of this world, we consider the Saguna Brahman, the Paramatma. He is Ishvara. Now, then who are we? We are all characters in his drama. He has created this beautiful drama, and he has created this entire world with all these characters with all these buildings, roads, trees, everything. And there are various characters in this drama. There are thieves, there are police, there is government, there are saints, there are people doing various work. This entire world is a drama created by the Lord. Now, in this entire drama, we are a particular character in the drama. Ishvara has given all the script, everything is given, and we are just playing the role that he has given us. Now, if we are lost in the role, thinking, oh, I am a very small individual with so much of limitations, then we become sad, we become dejected because of the character that we are playing. But if we are aware that this whole thing is a drama and I am actually not this character, this is only a role, and I am a Manasa Putra of Ishvara, I am a mental creation of Ishvara himself. Now, in the story, I will have a father, I will have a mother, and I would be the son of that parents. But that is just for the story's sake. Who is my real creator? Ishvara is my real creator. I am a Manasa Putra of Ishvara. Just for the sake of the story, he has created one parent and he has made me the son or a daughter of this parent. But my real parent is Ishvara alone. He is my creator. And when we have this knowledge that our true relationship is only with Ishvara, then automatically bhakti comes. Now, in the whole movie or in the whole drama, all the incidents, all the details of everything has been created by Ishvara only. And in fact, it is Ishvara only who has written even the dialogues for the thief also, for the police also, for the judge also. For everyone, it is only he who has written the dialogues. And the thief might justify his act of stealing in the court, but that is not the actual teaching of Ishvara. So even though he is the one who has written dialogues for everyone, his real intent, his real mind is not reflected in the dialogues of the thief and other people. His real intent is reflected in the dialogues of the various saints in this world. So that is why satsanga is important. So the various saints in this world, their words reflect the true intent of Ishvara. And Ishvara also creates some special characters in this whole drama through whom he completely manifests his thoughts. Now, you would have seen in movies, so much of drama will be happening, and in between there will be so much of tragedy, and the hero will be very dejected. He will be sitting. At that time, there will be one sad song, Sohapat. There will be one beggar who is walking along the streets singing Tera Jeevan Kora Kagaj, something like that, right? And usually the sad songs in the movies are the ones which will have the highest philosophy. Veedu varai uravu, veedi varai manaivi, kaadu varai pillai, kadaisi varai yaro. Those kind of concepts will come only in the sad songs. right? Relatives are only till the house. This your wife will come only till the street, and your children will come only till the cremation ground. Who is that who comes with you till the end? Oh man, think about it. Those kind of songs, some mendicant on the street will be singing and going in the movie. Now, that dialogue, that song is the real teaching of Ishvara. So, out of all these characters in this movie, there are some special characters through which Ishvara teaches the words which he actually wants to teach us. Now, they are called avatars. Avatars are those characters whom Ishvara himself has embedded into this whole drama, through whom he actually talks, he actually teaches those words which are originally his, which reflect his true intent, which reflect his true message. Now, those are the saints, those are the avatars whose words we have to listen to. And then we will understand that this whole life, this whole world is a drama. We are a character in his drama. We are his Manasaputra. And once we understand Ishvara this way, then automatically we will have bhakti towards Ishvara, vairagya towards this world, and true knowledge about ourselves. So, every one of us is a reflection of Ishvara alone. So, this is the teaching, and this is the true relationship between us and Ishvara. We are all characters in the drama that he is running. He has written all the dialogues, he has written the entire script, everything. We are just characters playing the role, and we need to remember this and remember Ishvara and play whatever role which has been given to us. Constant remembrance of Ishvara is what is needed. That is the purpose of life. Mayi aveshita chetasam, right? A mind soaked with Ishvara. Now, to that, how to get that is what Narada Bhakti Sutra teaches. And we have seen Sri Ramakrishna summarizes this entire teaching into 5 points in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Seek holy company, discriminate between the permanent and transient, constantly chant the name of God, do all your duties with detachment, meditate in solitude occasionally. Now, this is what Sri Ramakrishna even shows in his posture. If you see the posture in this figure, the left hand shows a lotus, which is Ishvara. The right hand shows a bee, a honey bee, which is the Jivatma. So, Ishvara is the lotus and Jivatma is the honey bee. And the honey bee has to come and sit on the lotus and drink the honey. That is what has to be done. So that is what he shows. There is this beautiful song by Kamala Kanta in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, which Swami Purushothamananji has beautifully translated into Kannada. And the poetical Kannada is very close to Tamil, so you can very easily understand, right? Taya Pada Neela Kamala. So the mother's feet, the lotus feet of the mother is the blue lotus. Taya Pada Neela Kamala. And then the Jivatma is the honey bee, which is the black bee, right? So that is the both are black because both are actually essentially consciousness only. So the lotus feet of the mother is also black and the bee is also black, right? So, and then the black bee is attracted by the fragrance of the lotus feet of the Lord, and it has to come and sit and sip the honey, which is the nectar of immortality. So, Amrita. So that is what this entire bhakti is, what is shown by Sri Ramakrishna in this posture of showing a lotus and the honeybee, the Paramatma and the Jivatma. And the Jivatma has to come and sit on the lotus feet of the Lord and take a sip of the Amrita and become immortal. Right? So this is the, and you can also consider that the honeybee is the mind, right? So the mind has to settle on the lotus feet of the Lord. It's the mind of the Jivatma. When you say Jivatma, it is just the mind, right? Mind is what is everything. So the mind of the Jivatma has to settle on the lotus feet of the Lord. That is what this posture shows. Now, we have seen Narada Bhakti Sutras. We have seen the first three topics: supreme love defined, renunciation, and the exemplars of divine love. We have seen. So now we'll go to the fourth topic, the highest goal of human life. Bhakti is the highest goal of human life. So the verses 25 to 33 are show this, come under this chapter. So Bhakti is the highest goal and all scriptural practices are for Bhakti only. Bhakti is both the means and end. So let us see what Narada says. Sa tu karma jnana yogebhyo api adhikatara. So he says sa means that is bhakti. Bhakti is adhikatara, means superior. Adhika means more. Adhikatara means very, very more, which is completely superior. Api, even to what? Karma, jnana, yoga. So here yoga means Raja Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. So he says Bhakti is superior to karma, jnana and dhyana. Why? Phala rupatvat. Right? Because it is the fruit of the three yogas. So all the three yogas are the means and bhakti is the fruit. So basically, like karma yoga, these are all means. Karma yoga helps us to purify the mind. Jnana yoga gives a foundation, a scriptural, conceptual foundation for bhakti. And dhyana yoga tells us how to focus on the Lord. So traditionally, like if you look at from this point of view, of course, Swami Vivekananda's definition of karma yoga, jnana yoga, raja yoga, bhakti yoga is different. Because this classification can be done in several ways. So Swamiji did the classification based on the instrument used. Okay. So we all have multiple faculties. We have the faculty to work. We have the intellectual faculty to think. We have the emotional faculty to feel. And we have the willpower, the faculty to will, to meditate. These are all various faculties of human beings. Now, Swamiji classified the four yogas based on these faculties. Using the faculty of action is called Karma Yoga. Using the faculty of intellect is Jnana Yoga. Using the faculty of emotions is Bhakti Yoga. And using the faculty of willpower is Raja Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. Now, what Swamiji says is within Karma Yoga, if you read Swamiji's Karma Yoga books, there also he will say you have to understand who is Ishvara, you have to understand the law of karma, you should do this, you should control your mind, you should work, and you should attain the highest knowledge. Within Karma Yoga itself, Swamiji will talk about everything. Similarly, even with if you take Jnana Yoga also, within Jnana Yoga also, like you understand and then you do Parayana, you do the scriptural study, you study it and then you analyze it and then you meditate upon it, right? Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, right? Meditation is there. And you also not just intellectually understand it, you also put your heart and soul into it. So that way again, right, everything comes in Jnana Yoga also. Even if you take Raja Yoga starts with, Raja Yoga is basically Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga. It starts with Yama Niyama, which is nothing but Karma Yoga. Asana, Pranayama, right, which is also like more of like Puja Padati, right? You sit and meditate. And then Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, right? And at Samadhi you merge. So again, and of course, Ishvara Pranidhana is one of the niyamas. So that way, again, you can find in Ashtanga Yoga also all the yogas come in. And even if you take Bhakti, like we have been seeing, right? Apichet Sudara, we are like you do offer all actions to the Lord, right? Yetu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha. So Bhakti Yoga involves Karma Yoga. And then, of course, Bhakti Yoga involves meditation upon the Lord, right? So, Ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. So, Bhakti Yoga involves meditation also. And ultimately, you know the Lord as your own innermost self. And also, to be able to do Bhakti also, you need to understand who is Jivatma, who is Paramatma, what is the relationship between them. That foundation, conceptual foundation of knowledge is needed for Bhakti. So that way, if you look at it, it is all mixed up, right? So, if you look the way Swami Vivekananda classified Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is based on the faculty that is used in that path. Predominant faculty. Of course, you have to use all the faculties in all the paths, but predominantly which faculty you are using. So, the criteria for that classification of Swamiji is entirely different. Now, when you come to Upanishads, when you come to Gita, when you come to the Narada Bhakti Sutras, the traditional classification, here the criteria is based on the phala. The phala of Karma Yoga is Chitta Shuddhi. The phala of Raja Yoga is Indriya Nigraha. So, depending on the fruit that is attained, depending upon what is attained by that particular yoga or that particular activity, the spiritual sadhana, the classification is made. So, the whole thing starts with Karma Yoga, then Raja Yoga, then Jnana Yoga, and finally Bhakti Yoga. Jnana Yoga gives the conceptual foundation. So you can say you start with Jnana Yoga. You understand who am I, right? As an individual, who is Ishvara? What is my relationship with Ishvara? You understand that basic idea of individual and the universal. And then based on that, you have law of karma, and then you work and you get chitta shuddhi. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyah sarva bhuta bhutatma kurvan apina lipyate. So this is the 5th chapter, 29th shloka. Krishna summarizes the entire spiritual path. Of course, here he doesn't involve bhakti, without involving bhakti, because bhakti comes only in the 7th chapter. Up to 6th chapter, Krishna doesn't bring in bhakti. Only in the 4th chapter, slightly he talks about Ishvara as an answer to Arjuna's question. But in general, like bhakti comes only from 7th chapter onwards. Only the Madhyama Shatkam. The first 6, the Prathama Shatkam doesn't come. So, Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma. So, by doing, here yoga is Karma Yoga. By Karma Yoga, Vishuddhatma, you attain purity of mind. What is purity of mind? Freedom from Raga Dvesha is called purity of mind. So, everywhere in the Gita, Vedanta, Upanishads, everywhere, whenever we talk about Chitta Shuddhi or purity of mind, it means freedom from Raga and Dvesha, freedom from strong likes and dislikes, freedom from attachment and hatred, right? Raga Dvesha Vihita, that is called Chitta Shuddhi. So that is attained by doing Karma Yoga. And how do you know that you have attained Karma Yoga? Samadrishti, right? So you attain the equanimity in all situations, right? Sarvatra Samabuddhi. That's what 12th chapter, 3rd shloka, it lists the what is attained by Karma Yoga, Sarvatra Samabuddhi. And then, so Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma, Vijitatma Jitendriyah. So by doing Raja Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, Vijitatma, you attain mastery over the mind. And by that, what do you get? Jitendriya. Control, you have victory over the senses. So that is the phala of Raja Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. Vijitatma Jitendriya. So in the 12th chapter, it is called Sanniyamya Indriya Gramam, control over the senses. Same thing. Jitendriya is the same thing as Sanniyamya Indriya Gramam, right? So you attain that. Then you go to Jnana Yoga, where you understand who is Jivatma, who is Paramatma. Then you say, right? So Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma Vijitatma Jitendriya Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. You understand that like Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. So Sarva Bhutatma is what? Sarva Bhuta is the entire universe, all living beings put together. So Sarva Bhuta Atma is Ishvara. So that Ishvara, who is the Atma of all living beings, Bhutatma, is my consciousness also. Basically, the same consciousness that is reflected in all the living beings is what is reflected in me also, which is I also. That is Jnana. Kurvanapina lipyate. After doing this, you will not get tainted by whatever action you do. So this is what 5th chapter says. So here you can see that karma, yoga and jnana are the means. Finally, what is the fruit? Bhakti is the fruit. So when bhakti is considered as the para bhakti, complete surrender to Ishvara, prapatti, which is same as jnanam, the ultimate atma jnanam, brahma jnanam, bhakti, they are all the same. Nirvana, moksha, they are all considered as equivalent. So when bhakti is defined as the ultimate goal of life, which is the same as mukti, jivan mukti, then karma, phala and yoga are the means to that And so bhakti is superior to karma, jnana, and yoga. So ultimate surrender to the Lord is the goal, and karma, for that, karma yoga provides chitta shuddhi, raja yoga provides control over our senses, and jnana yoga provides the knowledge about our relationship to Ishvara. By all these things, when we absorb it, then we develop pure love for Ishvara, and that is the final goal. Right? That is the final goal. When you have pure love for Ishvara, complete surrender to Ishvara, that itself is Jivan Mukti. Right? So that way, here the three yogas are the means and bhakti is the end. So you should not get confused, because there are multiple definitions for the same words: karma yoga, jnana yoga, raja yoga, bhakti yoga. So depending upon the context, you have to take the correct definition for all these. Then there will not be any confusion. Then Sutra 27 says, Ishwarasya api abhimana dveshitvat dainya priyatvat cha. So why is bhakti the final goal? He says, why is bhakti higher than the other yogas? That is what is mentioned here. So karma yoga, jnana yoga, and raja yoga, they are inferior, and bhakti is superior. Why? Because Ishvara is against arrogance and he favors humility. Dainya is humility. Right? So people who are humble, Ishvara favors them, and people who are arrogant, they are not in the favor of Ishvara. Now, if you look at the other yogas, karma yoga, raja yoga, and dhyana yoga, and jnana yoga, they can create arrogance. A karma yogi might say, oh, how much work I have done, I have achieved this, I have achieved that. Because he does a lot of work, he achieves a lot of things, and that achievement can give arrogance. And even if he gives so much money in dana, in donation, charity, and all that, even that charity can give a lot of arrogance. Oh, you know how much I have donated. I'm a great philanthropist. That kind of arrogance can be there. Even if he gets name and fame out of this whole thing, that name and fame can create a lot of arrogance. And even if he tries to give up everything, he can develop arrogance even that he has given up everything. So even nishkama karma can create arrogance. Now, when you come to jnana yoga, also same thing. A person who has understood the scriptures, he can develop arrogance over his panditya, over his mastery over this. I know this, I know that, I can understand this, you cannot understand this. He can develop arrogance. So there can be arrogance of knowledge, there can be arrogance of karma, and similarly there can be arrogance of dhyana also. I can sit and meditate for 1 hour without moving. A person can develop arrogance, right? Ego, pride, that he is able to control. You cannot even sit for 5 minutes without moving your body. You say your legs are paining, your neck is paining. Look at me. I can sit for hours together without moving even 1 inch. That arrogance can develop. I can meditate. You all within half an hour, you will all fall asleep, or your mind will start wandering. Look at me. I can concentrate. I can focus. And people can even say, you know how much japa I do? I do 10,000 japa every day, 20,000 japa every day. You know, such arrogance people can develop through Raja Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. But when regard to bhakti, you cannot have arrogance. You cannot say, you know, what a great bhakta I am. Bhakti itself means you are surrendering yourself to the Lord. You are considering yourself as a small entity, insignificant entity compared to the Lord. You cannot develop arrogance by bhakti. A bhakta can never be arrogant. Only when he deviates from bhakti, he can become arrogant. By becoming successful in bhakti, he cannot become arrogant. Whereas the other three yogas, by achieving the phala of those spiritual practices, you can develop arrogance. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. By achieving the phala of those yogas, you can develop arrogance. Whereas when you achieve the phala of bhakti, which is prapatti, surrender, understanding your infinitesimal, insignificant status compared to Ishvara, when you develop the phala of bhakti, true love for God, you can never be arrogant by that. It will only lead to humility. So that is why here he says, Ishwarasya api abhimana dveshitvat dainya priyatvat cha. Ishvara favors humility and Ishvara abhors arrogance. In the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna also, Sri Ramakrishna repeatedly emphasizes the importance of humility. Sri Ramakrishna was very, very humble. Anyone comes, he will do namaskar. He will bow down and do namaskar. He was very, very humble. And even as a part of his sadhana, he cleaned the toilet of the sweeper of Dakshineshwar with his long hair to develop humility. And if you see even his form, like he has given up all paraphernalia, all symbols of even holiness, right? No religious symbols on his form, right? Even he wants to give up that arrogance of being a religious person also. Of course, we need religious symbols because we need to develop connection to the Lord. The anuraga towards the Lord we need to develop. So we use religious symbols. He has gone beyond all that. So he has given up all religious symbols because he doesn't want to have an abhimana because of that. Even when he was when he had moved to Dakshineshwar, he used to meditate in the middle of the night, removing his sacred thread. Removing the sacred thread is considered as a great apachara for a Brahmin, right? Because the sacred thread, the Yajnopavita, is the symbol of his following the Veda and the following the Vedic way of life. But also the sacred thread is a symbol of the caste, superiority, and all that. So Sri Ramakrishna used to remove his sacred thread and hang it on a tree aside and then sit and meditate, almost naked. And even his brother Ramkumar got shocked when he saw his younger brother meditating like this. He says, like, what kind of a tyaga is this? Like this much? Do you need to do this much of austerity? So this abhimana tyaga is, we can see in Sri Ramakrishna's life, in every stage of his life, whether whomever he meets, whether he is meeting Vidyasagar or Keshav Chandra Sen, or even when he is talking to the servants of Dakshineshwar garden, he used to be so humble. He used to be very, very humble. So we have to learn humility from the life of Sri Ramakrishna. And he also teaches, he says, the water will not collect on a high place. Water will naturally flow towards the low areas and it will collect only in the low areas. Similarly, he says, the Guru Kripa, Ishvara Kripa, and Jnana, Bhakti, Vairagya, everything will naturally flow and collect only where there is humility. Only the heart and mind which has got humility are fit recipients for Jnana, Bhakti, Vairagya. This is what Sri Ramakrishna says. And also he gives an example of a tree which is fully laden with ripe fruits will bend down because of the weight of the fruits. So similarly, a person who has got real, true jnana, bhakti, vairagya, will naturally be humble. Gita also says Vidya, Vinaya, Sampanne, right? Vidya and Vinaya will go together. True knowledge and humility will go together. So, Adambitvam, Amanitvam, right? Like the sadhana, the list of sadhanas which Krishna describes in the 13th chapter, right? 13th chapter, there is a series of 5 shlokas where Krishna gives the sequence of spiritual sadhana. In 5 shlokas he gives, and it starts with Adambitvam, Amanitvam, then comes Ahimsa, Kshanti, Arjavam, Acharyopashanam, Shaucham, right? Like, so list of sadhanas, when Krishna lists in sequence, and that is actually in sequence, the sequence in which you have to perform spiritual sadhana. So a list of about 20 sadhanas is given in that. And the first in that list is Adambitvam, Amanitvam. Adambitvam means non-bragging. Amanitvam means not having a sense of superiority. Adambitvam is like expressed, Amanitvam is in the mind. So Adambitvam, Amanitvam, then comes Ahimsa, Kshanti, Arjavam, right? So all those. So humility is very, very important in spiritual life. And here Narada says, Bhakti is the one which gives humility, and so Bhakti is superior to other yogas. And again, he emphasizes, Tasya jnanam eva sadhanam iti eke. So, for Bhakti, jnana is the means. Right? So, here when we say jnana is the means of Bhakti, here it is not Atma Jnanam, it is not Brahma Jnanam. That we have to be very, very clear about. Whenever we say jnana is a means for Bhakti, we have to understand that it is the Jiva Ishvara Sambandha Jnanam, not Atma Jnanam. Atma Jnanam is the highest. Brahma Jnanam is the highest, right? But here, when we say Jnanam as a means for Bhakti, it is the knowledge that I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am the individual Jivatma. That knowledge, right? So, we have seen that knowledge has multiple stages, multiple steps. First, a person wrongly identifies himself with the body and mind. That is the lowest level of ajnanam, right? Then the next stage is the person identifies himself with the karana sharira and he says, I am the individual jivatma. This body and mind are my instruments and I use my free will and I attain papa punya. I carry papa punya from life to life and I develop good qualities. So there the jnanam is to identify with the karana sharira and not with the body and mind. So most of the sadhana takes that as the foundation, right? We say, Krishna himself says in the second chapter, right? He says, Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatah dehantaraf praptihi, right? dhiraha tasya na muhyate. So, just as how the dehi, here dehi means the karna sharira, right? Dehi nos mean yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. So, how in this body the dehi goes through kaumaram, there is young age, yavanam, youth, and jara, old age. Similarly, death also comes, and when the death comes, he leaves this body and takes another body, right? So there is a very beautiful shloka in the 15th chapter, right? He says, Utkramantam sthitam vapi bunjanam va gunanvitam, right? Vimuda nanu pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. So here he says jnana chakshushaha, a person who has got the eye of wisdom, jnana chakshu. Here what jnana is that I am not this body and mind, I am the person who goes from one body to another body. He says, Utkramantam sthitam va api. Utkramantam means when going from one body to another body, this jivatma, sthitam va api, or while staying in the same body. In both times, it is different from this body and mind. That is knowledge, right? Even while living in the same body, or while going from one body to another body, knowing that I am not this body, I am not this mind, is called jnanam here. Right? Utkramantam sthitam va api bunjanam va gunanvitam. Whether I am experiencing the sense objects or when I am involved in my own thoughts, bunjanam va gunan api. So then he says, Vimuda na anupashyanti, Vimudaha na anupashyanti, right? Pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. So a person who has got the right knowledge, he sees himself as different from this body and mind, as that entity which goes from one body to another body. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So this is the first level of knowledge. Then second level of knowledge is saying, I am not the one who goes from birth to birth, body to body. I am the witness of all these things. I am the witness. I am not the one who is going from body to body. I am not the karna sharira. I am the jivatma. I am that consciousness reflected on the karna sharira. I am the individual consciousness reflected on the karna sharira, which is the purusha, right? In the Sankhya terminology, it is called purusha. The rest of all the three bodies are all part of prakriti. I am the purusha. But still I am an individual. I am the individual reflection on the karna sharira. So that is the second level of knowledge. And then third level of knowledge is, I am not the reflected consciousness. I am the original consciousness. I am the Atma. I am not the Jivatma. I am the Atma. Now, that is the third level of knowledge. That is a final supreme knowledge. So here, when we say knowledge is the means, here we mean by knowledge of I am the Jivatma. The knowledge that I am not this body and mind, but I am the reflected consciousness. I am the individual consciousness. That knowledge. Now, that knowledge is the means for bhakti, because that knowledge gives you the relationship between Jivatma and Paramatma. That knowledge is the means for bhakti. So, tasya jnanam eva sadhanam iti eke. So, for bhakti, this knowledge is the means, which is correct only. Because unless you know what is Jivatma, what is Paramatma, and identify yourself as the Jivatma, and identify that Ishvara is the Paramatma, you will not have bhakti. So here, jnanam eva sadhanam. But don't confuse this with Atma Jnana. Atma Jnana is not meant here. Okay. Then, next sutra says, Anyonya ashrayatvam iti anye. They are mutually dependent, say others. Which is also true. How? Mutually dependent means what? Bhakti gives knowledge, knowledge gives bhakti. Right? So first what happens? Knowledge gives bhakti. Knowledge that I am Jivatma, Ishvara is Paramatma, that gives bhakti. Right? That gives me love for God. Now what happens? When I truly love the Lord, I surrender to the Lord. I say, oh Lord, you are everything, I am nothing. When I completely surrender to the Lord, I realize that I am not apart from the Lord, then Atma Jnanam comes. So, Atma Jnanam becomes the result of bhakti. So, Jivatma Jnanam gives bhakti and Pratyag Atma Jnanam comes as a result of bhakti. So, that way they are mutually dependent. Bhakti and Jnana are mutually dependent. The first level of knowledge, or in the full sequence I told you, the second level of knowledge gives bhakti, and bhakti gives the final level of knowledge. Then Swayam Phala Rupata iti Brahma Kumaraha. So Brahma Kumara is Narada, the son of Brahma. So Narada says, gives one more dimension to bhakti. He says, Swayam Phala Rupata. It is its own fruit. So what does it mean? Bhakti is the means and bhakti is the end also. Right? So through bhakti, you attain the end. Right? Avanarulale, Avan Namam, Avantal Patri. Like in the Sivapuranam, there is a very beautiful statement which says, by the grace of God, we hold on to the Lord's feet. Right? And how does grace of Lord comes? By our bhakti. So, bhakti is its own fruit. Right? So, bhakti is the way also, bhakti is the fruit also. How is bhakti its own fruit? So, here he gives an example. Raja Griha Bhojana Adishu Tatha Eva Drishtatvat. Right? So, just like a king's palace, food, etc. Right? And okay, if you read the next sutra, then the more explanation comes. Na Raja Paritoshaha Shuk Shantir Va. So, na tena. So basically drishtatvat, right? Just by seeing. So here Raja Griha is palace. King's palace is Raja Griha. Now just by you seeing the king's palace, the king will not be satisfied. The king doesn't even know that you are seeing his palace. Just by looking at the king, right, you cannot please the king. And just by looking at food, your hunger will not go. Bhojana also. So similarly, just by knowing I am Jivatma and Ishvara is Paramatma, now that will not give any benefit. Right? Just mere knowledge of what is Jivatma, what is Paramatma, what is the relationship between Jivatma and Paramatma will not get you to the goal. You have to develop bhakti towards Paramatma. Only then the goal will be attained. So that is the message here. Just by looking at food, right, your hunger will not be satisfied. Chut. Chut means hunger. Chut shanti means appeasement of hunger. Chut shanti will not happen just by bhojana drishti. Right? Bhojana is food. Bhojana drishti will not result in chut shanti. Similarly, Raja Paritosha, pleasing the king, Raja Paritosha, will not also happen just by Rajagriha Drishti. By looking at the palace, you will not please the king. What should happen? The next shlokas. Okay, next shloka gives the other one. So basically, you have to develop bhakti. So Sri Ramakrishna puts it in a very nice way. He says, some people have heard about milk. Some people have seen milk. Some people have drunk the milk and digested it and have got nourishment out of it. Just by hearing milk, you will not get the strength or the nutritional benefit of milk. Even by seeing milk, you will not get the nutritional benefit of milk. Only by drinking milk, you will get the nutritional benefit. So, just by knowing, just by studying the scriptures, understanding them, and even listening to lectures, and knowing I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am the Jivatma, knowing all these things, and that Paramatma is the supreme being, he is the supreme soul, he is the soul of this whole universe. Okay, all these things are fine. All you are knowing all these things, but what is the use? There is no use. After all this knowledge, you should develop bhakti. You should develop the emotional relationship between Jivatma and Paramatma. Between yourself and Ishvara, you have to develop the emotional relationship, the personal emotional relationship. That is bhakti. Without bhakti, there is no use of knowing all these things. Right? Otu churakkai, otu churakkai, karikku udavadu. Right? So basically, like the picture of a pumpkin in the book cannot be used for cooking. Right? There is a Tamil proverb. Etu churakkai, karikku udavadu. Sorry. Etu churak, edu means book. Etu churakkai means the picture of the pumpkin in the book. Karikku udavadu, that cannot be used for cooking. Right? So Sri Ramakrishna also gives the example. The almanac will tell you how much rain will come in this year. But even if we squeeze the almanac, not a drop of water will come. So basically, theoretical knowledge, just pure intellectual knowledge, is of no use. That intellectual knowledge is only a guidepost. It is only gives the direction. You have to follow those directions. Right? Just by reading a book on Yogasana, you will not gain health. Reading that book of Yogasana, you have to put a mat and sit and do the Yogasana. Just by reading, oh, pranayama, you have to breathe in for this many seconds, breathe out for this many seconds. Just reading that will not give you the benefit. You have to sit and you have to do the practice. Only then the benefit will be got. So that is what this says. Just by knowing who is Jivatma, who is Paramatma is of no use. After knowing that, you have to develop the personal emotional relationship with God, which is bhakti. Only then the benefit is got. So, the sutra says, Tasmat, therefore, sa eva grahya mumukshubhihi. So, the seekers of liberation, mumukshubhihi, should hold on to bhakti. Right? Should follow bhakti. Which means what? You have to sit and do japa. You have to listen to the glories of the Lord and develop emotional relationship with the Lord. That is what is important. Even if you listen to all the stories, even if you chant, even if you memorize the entire Vishnu Sahasranama, it's of no use. Unless you develop personal emotional relationship with the Lord. That is bhakti. Bhakti is personal emotional relationship with the Lord. So that is the crux of the whole thing. That is the real means of liberation. Right? So This chapter talked about what is the highest goal of life, which is bhakti. Bhakti is the highest goal. All other spiritual practices are for bhakti only. Bhakti is both the means and end. Clear? So mainly like the terminology of what is karma yoga, raja yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. There are multiple terminologies. You should understand the different terminologies. Then there will not be any confusion. Right?
Jai Ramakrishna.
Yes, sir.
This 13th chapter, that slogan number, please.
That is, I think, seventh shloka. 13th chapter, 7th shloka.
Okay.
Amanitvam, amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshantirarjavam. That seventh shloka to 11th shloka, 5 shlokas are called sadhana panchakam. 5 shlokas describe.
Okay. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Jai Ramakrishna.
Jai Ramakrishna. Satish, you have a question?
Yeah, sir. See, I have a personal relationship with God, and now I'm invoking a duality here. Like, and through this duality, I will slowly, like, I will realize that there is no duality.
Correct. So, a personal relationship with Ishvara, and what is important is you have to meditate upon the nature of Ishvara as the Vishwarupa Ishvara. That is important. Right? Ekatvena prataktvena bahuda vishwato mukham. Right? That is what Krishna says as the different stages of conception of Ishvara. Right? So you have, so unless you develop the idea that Ishvara is the supreme being, he is this entire Ishvara, he is the Vishwarupa Ishvara, there is nothing in this universe other than Ishvara, those ideas you have to think upon, and that is the idea of Ishvara that you should develop. Then that will lead to the complete surrender of your individuality, and Atmajnana will come. Without Vishwarupa Ishvara Bhava, you cannot get to the Atmajnana. That is what we talked about, the story of Narada coming with the fruit to Kailasha, and Ganesha, Kartikeya went around the world. Ganesha understood that Ishvara and the world are not different, and he went around the Ishvara and he got the fruit. So the prerequisite for Jnanam is Vishwarupa Ishvara Bhavam. Vishwarupa Ishvara Jnanam, Vishwarupa Ishvara Bhavam, then Atmajnanam will come.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Shri Ramakrishna. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Ramakrishna, Jai Ramakrishna, Jai Ramakrishna.